Hello boys and girls, this is Miss Salazar. We are into our final third week of the summer program. And this week we're going to be doing pottery. Okay, we're going to be talking about culture and how pottery plays a big part in that culture. Okay, before we get started with making our pottery, you need to know that pottery comes from clay. And clay is basically mud, water, and dirt. But not all the water and dirt can make clay. There's a specific type of materials or minerals that are in the dirt and the water to make a specific mud or clay. Okay, a long time ago people had the necessity to make some type of container to hold their food or their water. Okay, so there were two types of clay or arts that you need to do. The first one is functional, so anything that could somebody in everyday life would need, so a type of cup or a bowl or a plate. Sometimes they even found out that if they made clay and they would let it dry and they would form this type of brick, and they would sometimes, some of them a very long time ago, that's how they used to make houses. Okay, because once it dries out it turns a little hard. Okay, the clay, the mud. So that's one part of the people that have made clay containers. It's just for the functionality of it. There's another part later on that comes in with art. So like they make this fancy ceramic work or sculptures. Okay, and that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. Before we get started though, let me tell you that we later found out that if we put clay with fire, so we put it in the oven or some specific type of heat, it would turn into a pottery that we use now. Okay, today we use pottery only as a form of art because we have other type of materials that sometimes we use for functionals, but there are still some places that do functional type of clay art. Okay, or a necessity of functional containers that we use till today to heat up food or to hold water. Okay, so we're gonna get started. We are not going to make an actual clay because we need water and mud and specific materials for it. You can always order clay or pottery kit online, but if you are at home, I can show you how to make a version of our clay at home with materials that you should have in your kitchen. Okay, so let's get started making our own special type of clay. Okay, so you're gonna need three materials basically: flour, salt, and water. Those are only three ingredients that you're going to be using to making our clay. Let's get started. So you're also going to be needing measuring cups. Okay, 1 cup, 1 whole cup, and half a cup. You're also going to be utilizing a spoon or a stick or anything that can help you stir or mix. Okay, let's get started. To make this clay, you need 1 cup of flour. So again, any type of all-purpose flour will work. You need 1 cup. 1 cup. There. I'm gonna use a little bit of it. There we go. 1 cup. 1 cup of flour. You're gonna be using half a cup. Half a cup of salt. Half a cup. I'm going to shake it a little bit so I can be almost there. There we go. I'm going to mix this one before I add the water. Just a little mixing. You're also going to be using the half cup again. The half cup of water. But instead of pouring all the water in, you're going to put a little bit of it and you're going to mix it. A little bit more. Mixing it. You can start to see that it's sticking together. That's what we want. Keep on adding it. I'm going to have to hold the bowl in just a minute. I'm just going to put the rest of the water in. And you mix it. It's going to come together. Make sure you scrape the sides of the bowl. In a minute, I'm going to use my hands to pick up the ball and make it nice and good and tight. Just going to use a few more strokes. See, it's starting to stick together. I'm going to start forming it into a packed ball. It's really easy to make. Okay, I think it's ready to be picked up with my hands. Okay, put that on the side. Okay, gonna grab my hands. And then gonna knead the bowl. I'm gonna try to pick up everything. It's on the bottom. It's very nice and soft and cool. That's what we want. If it is too dry, just keep on adding a little bit of water. But try not to put too much water. That's why you should always put little by little. And then working it. Okay, and as you can see, I have the ball of clay. My hands. Now I can move it around, shape it. You're going to need a nice flat surface. I'm going to use this table, but this table is not completely flat, so this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to set it aside for just a minute. I'm going to grab foil, just so I can have a smooth surface. And before I put my clay on it, I'm going to grab just a little bit of flour. It's going to sprinkle a little bit in it. This is just to prevent the clay from sticking to the surface, okay? Now I have my clay right here. And it is ready for some moldings. Okay, I'm going to show you a really easy way to do a pottery for like a pot or like a, oh, let me see my things up here. Some type of bowl, okay? And this technique is very easy. It's the pinch technique. So all you do is, so you grab a sizable, you make a little ball of your clay. See, like it is, little bowl. So you're going to be using your fingers, okay, your thumb and your fingers. So I'm going to push my thumb inside the clay. And with my fingers on the side, I'm going to start pinching them. Okay, and it starts to fall. See, a little one. See right there? If it's sticking, grab a little bit more of the flour. And again, start pinching. There we go. If you want to, you can put it on your table so you can have a flat surface at the bottom. You can start turning it and pinching it to the side. Be careful not to pinch in too much, or otherwise it's going to start to get bigger on the top and smaller on the bottom. So make sure that it's nice and even. If you can get it straight, that would be wonderful. If for some reason it doesn't work, you can always pull it into a ball again and try again. That's why I always try to put it right there. Sometimes with this dough, you can't do it really high, or you can do a big plate or bowl or ceramic. You can always try. This would be perfect for when you're outside and you guys are having like a picnic area or something, and you always can put like little, oh, there you go. It's on the side. Lights inside, or even a tray, or you can do some type of plate, anything. It could be anything and everything. I was thinking of putting like little candles on the side. And see, it's almost done. I'm going to set it aside. You can also do a plate. You can do something for your, like a plate for your parents that you can put your keys in, or you can put, this is not meant to hold food, but anything else. Or you can do like a pencil, holder, anything at all. I'm going to show you too a little something also that I learned, something different. You can always use like a rolling pin or something to roll it with, or you can just try and press it. I'm going to roll it a little bit so I can extend it. Again, make sure you always have flour at the bottom, otherwise it's going to stick. I'm going to flatten it out and I'm going to extend it, and I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a coaster, and a coaster is where you put your cold or hot beverage and you put it on the bottom of your plate so it doesn't sweat or stain your table. But I'm going to add a design to it. You are more than welcome to always use a wooden stick or a kitchen butter knife, not anything too sharp. You don't need any. You can start drawing or making a design, or I found this technique where you use leaves. Okay, when you use the sleeve on the leaves, there's a side that is very rough. You can touch all of the veins and little parts of the stem, and then when there is it's just a smooth surface. We want the back of the leaf where you can feel the stems, and this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be pressing it into my mold very gently. I'm going to press it right here. You can always use your rolling pin very slowly. You don't press it too hard. You press the leaf into your mold. Okay. And then you can pull, or sometimes too, you can even cut across or around the mold. See? Just use that one later. And once you take very carefully your leaf out, it will leave an imprint of the leaf. I don't know if you can see that one. Okay, you can always press it, or you can leave it as like it was before, into a square. I'm gonna leave that so I can dry. I'm gonna do one more, then we're gonna get started with the painting. So again, make sure you have flour so it doesn't stick to the bottom. And this one I'm gonna leave it as a square. This can also be some pretty little stones that I can put outside on my porch. Once I carve it, I'm gonna use a different one. Tiny little one. So remember, there's a part of the leaf where it's very hard and which one is not the soft part. I'm just gonna press it first so it doesn't move, and then I'm gonna use my rolling pin and slowly mark it. Okay, once it's taking out, it leaves the imprint of the leaf inside. And I'm gonna set this one aside. Okay, alrighty. So once you're done with your clay, or when you think you're finished and done with your clay, you need to put it inside a baggie, a Ziploc baggie. It would hold for maybe 2 days. So you do need to keep it and use it once you start making it, okay? Also, on a side note, if the clay starts to, for example, if you're doing your pottery and it starts to droop a little bit, it's getting too hot, you need to stop and put it in your Ziploc bag and put it in your refrigerator so it can cool down a bit, so it will get a little bit hard, okay? You want to let it air dry 2 or 3 days before you can paint it. It has to be dry completely so that it's gonna be hard so that you guys can paint with it and decorate your pottery. Or if your mom or your dad is there and can help you guys turn on the oven, you guys can put your potteries in the oven for 300 degrees for about 20 minutes and it will get hard, but you can only do that when there is an adult with you. And if not, again, like I said it before, you guys can just leave it in your for air to dry. So leave it in the room in 2 days or until it's hard enough, then you can start doing the next part. Okay, let me show you what it will look like once it is air dried. I use air dry these. Oh, let me take this one. Yesterday. I made these yesterday. I'm going to show you. Okay. As you can see, they are hard. They are done, except for the bottom part, but it's okay. I can let them dry once I color them. Okay, so I'm going to show you now that you can color it and decorate them however you guys want to. Okay, you're going to be using or utilizing acrylic paintings, any color that you guys want to use. You're also going to need different types of brushes, and I would like to use, but you don't have to, markers, okay, especially Sharpies so they can hold. Okay, so what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start coloring my clay. As you can see, it's pretty good. You also want to try and color them or put 2 coats, preferably, even 3 if you really want to. But once you paint one side, make sure to not touch it. So if you want to touch it and paint all the way around, make sure your fingers are inside, holding it like this, and you're not touching the sides of it. Otherwise, it's gonna not paint wherever your fingers are at. Also, another technique, like I said, besides the acrylic paint, is also using a Sharpie. Let me show you how that would work. Okay, let me see if we can put it in. Okay, so this Sharpie, you can color or you can make designs once you're finished coloring, or even if you want to leave it like that. Designs on your pottery, on the side. That's why it's a lot easier to do it with a marker. Alrighty. A lot of cultures, I wanted to let you know, a lot of cultures use pottery to tell stories or to talk about their people or to represent their colors. So if, for example, in ancient times in Greece or times of Hercules, they would use their potteries and they would draw images on it to tell stories. So I hope to see your potteries that come out perfectly and beautiful, because I'm sure they will. Thank you for joining me today, guys, and hopefully see you for the last video later this week. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.